Hello my loves and welcome back. For my new followers, I'm happy you are here, and for my loyal followers, let's get into it. So we usually start off with checking in, and that is basically just asking yourself how your day is going, just reflecting on what can be improved and what changes can be made for the next day basically, right? So today we're going to talk about postnatal depression, and if you've watched some of my previous videos, you would, have an idea how we got here. So I'm going to start off with talking about the definition and the symptoms and sort of the treatments that are available. So the definition is a mood disorder that can affect people giving birth. Symptoms are persistent sadness, low energy, anxiety, crying, being irritable, changes to sleeping or eating pattern, which is understandable, you've just had a baby, and some people suffer with not creating a bond with their baby. In terms of treatment, it can be, seeking medical advice, speaking to your GP or your doctor, and they can also sometimes prescribe you with medication or counselling. And it can also affect men as well. So in terms of my own personal experience, I experienced postnatal depression for a good year plus, almost 2 years. And at that time, I didn't want to go anywhere, didn't want to do anything, didn't want to speak to anyone, basically didn't want to socialize. I didn't have difficulty bonding, but I just wanted to stay within my own bubble. And at that time, I was just, your body changes. That's another thing to add to it. It's the change of hormones, the change of your mindset. You're kind of looking at yourself differently than how you was 9 months ago, because you're going to have, most likely have, scarring and stretch marks. Depending if you had a C-section, you can have a scar from that. Depending on your face, and even just putting on weight can affect your mindset and how you think about certain things. So all of that kind of plays into your mind and kind of looking at yourself like, this is not what I'm used to. I look different, I feel different, even having the pregnancy notes. And if you saw like one of my other videos, you would see the pregnancy notes that I had in when I was pregnant, especially with pregnancies I've had 4 now. And in every pregnancy has been different. One pregnancy, it was about how I had preeclampsia. I made a video about that, so you can check that out. And then, one of my other pregnancy, I had gestational diabetes, which is diabetes that you get only when you're pregnant. There's other ones, but this one is mainly for just if you're pregnant and stuff. So every pregnancy is different. So each pregnancy being different, you're going to experience different things and, different outcomes for each situation. And in terms of having that postnatal depression, I did seek medical advice. I was, prescribed medication, but then when I kind of looked into the side effects and, how it would make me feel, I kind of decided not to take it because I felt like the side effects were more than, the condition I was going through. And it was just about me kind of resetting my mindset to think about, there's something positive that I've done. I've given birth to a child, and how can I move forward? How can I get back to myself? How can I go back to being social? And just, talking to people like before. And in that period, I was writing a diary, just writing notes on my phone, how I felt that day, hence why I believe that checking in is important. Just writing how I felt, what I did today, how I can make it better the next day. And even from doing that, I was slowly going back to myself. I was slowly, going back to my goals and, going back to the purpose of, what I want to achieve in life and certain things, and kind of drawing my attention away from how I felt emotionally and, what I've just gone through and how my body looks. Then, from that to something positive, what am I looking forward? What is the goal ahead of me? And after that, you kind of slowly drift away from those thoughts of, your change of body, especially if you're in a situation, in a relationship that's not really good, which I wasn't really perfect to kind of bring a child into. That can also play into the situation of you even feeling more worse. I will talk about that in probably another video. If you want to see that in terms of my relationship experience, let me know in the comments below. So yes, like everything can affect you. Just giving birth, your body's vulnerable. You've been going to these appointments weekly, monthly, and you're having people in your personal space that you're not used to. it's a lot, you know, and especially if in a relationship, you know, you go from just both of you to three of you now, and then the focus is more on the baby. It's not about, you know, us going on a date night as much and us seeing friends and just being, you know, doing our own thing. You know, it's now we have to focus on the baby and what the baby needs. And, you know, especially being at home, you're going to be, you know, maybe not going to work, so you're not socializing with people. It's just you and your baby in your own little bubble, and you're not gonna feel the same in a, you know, in a relationship as it was before. Because before, you guys were probably going out, going on holidays, you know, going out to eat. Now you have a child, you have to think about, you know, financially, you know, sensible spending. You know, you're not having your normal sleep pattern anymore. Your baby's up during the day or could be up during the night, so you're having to adapt your life, you know, to your baby to make it work. And that is, all those adjustments is a lot, you know, from being in a relationship to having to now three, including the baby, and, you know, not going to work, so you're not seeing your colleagues anymore, you're not seeing your friends that you talk to on a regular basis, to just being at home and, you know, taking care of the baby. But in all of that, it's just about kind of putting things into perspective and feeling positive about the situation, you know, going back to the drawing board and figuring out what can be done better, how you can, you know, change your situation for the better. Saying that, even when I reflected on how I felt those 2 years, I kind of felt a bit guilty, because I felt like I kind of kept my child and myself from the world, you know. And, you know, I didn't attend those baby groups or the mothering, you know, nursery rhyme sessions, because I was just at home, and I felt like my child missed, you know, those experiences with other children during that, you know, that baby period time. So I think if you're someone that is going through these symptoms, or you have, you know, maybe your mood is down, or you don't have enough energy, or you're always crying, you know, try and speak to your friends, try and speak to your partner, because, you know, anyone can have it that's, you know, that's going through the same thing with you. If it's your partner, maybe they're going through the same thing. So it's also good to talk to that partner, so you know, you can kind of talk it out, and, you know, share your feelings, because that also helps us to talk it. You know, sometimes we collect thoughts in our mind all the time, and it just rotates and rotates. But when it, you know, when you speak it out, you hear it, and then you're like, oh, okay, I felt like this and I felt like this, and that other person can also add to it or contribute, you know, in a positive way. And if that's, you know, if you don't have a family, or you don't have a partner or friends, whatever the case is, seek medical help. You know, if you don't want to take the medication, you can seek, you know, they can refer you to a counsellor. So that's always good to just have that, you know, that time, whether it's an hour, 45 minutes, you know, face to face, over the phone, to just speak and just say how you feel. Like, I've been counselling, and I think it's amazing, right? When you're in a house of, you know, kids making noise, and, you know, you're having to do the laundry, the dishes, to cook, to clean, and just maintain everything. That 45 minutes of just being you in complete silence, just talking about how you feel, and then the funny thing is, when you're talking and, you know, reflecting on your own thoughts, you actually pick up certain things, because, again, like I said, everything's in your mind. But when you're speaking it out, you can actually hear yourself and say, oh, okay, that's that and that's this. Do you know what I mean? And it can actually help you to kind of come to a better decision making, because you're speaking it out and not just it, you know, having thoughts in your head. So in terms of tips, I would say speak to a family member, speak to friends, you know, the ones you know, your friends and family that you trust. Seek medical help. Don't feel like you're by yourself. Don't feel like it's something that to be shameful. Don't feel like you shouldn't feel like this, because you can feel any way about a certain situation. It just depends on how you deal with it and the outcome for you and your child and your situation. And I also say, you know, write a journal. If you don't want to write a journal, just write, you know, notes in your phone, or whatever the case is, whatever's suitable for you. Do it, so that, again, it's another way of reflecting. It's another way of, you know, sometimes we find it hard to kind of speak our mind. So if you don't have that kind of situation, at least writing it down helps it to come out, and you're able to now read what you've written and kind of reflect on it like that, and just not let it build up inside of you and you explode. That would be the worst thing, in terms of your safety and the baby's safety. So in all, I would say postnatal depression is something that women go through. It's normal. It's nothing to be ashamed of. And, you know, if you're someone out there that is going through this, seek medical help or reach out. Like, we are looking for women out there that have experience in anything, you know, they feel like they want to share and feel comfortable, because you don't know how your story would impact other people, how you can, you know, influence people in a positive way, and give your advice and tips on how, you know, how you dealt with this situation, that situation. So there would be information in the description below on how you can contact us, and, you know, just give us some information on how you feel like, or, you know, what you want to talk about, the topic, the process of going through those stages of, you know, recording and actually getting your voice out so that you're able to help other people. So I hope this video helps. I will leave you with that. Mwah.